What's going on, everybody? Welcome to BeatStars Academy. My name is Jamil. I am joined today by Levi Beats, and we will be joined in a few moments by special guest Jasmine Crowder. Today, we're bringing back an old favorite of the BeatStars Academy community, Pro Page reviews. We're going to be reviewing your Pro Pages live, checking them out, letting you know what we think of the designs, letting you know what we think of the content. We're always really excited to do this one and to be joined today by our CMO, Jasmine, to be able to help us out. If you guys are just joining us from the ad webinar, welcome. Let us know how it went. I'd love to hear about it. If you guys are interested in learning about, ad strategy and how to use ads, that's something I'm interested in knowing. I create a lot of the, educational content like tutorials for the BeatStars on our help desk. So I'd love to know if you guys are interested in that stuff, and hopefully we can create some more. And besides that, Jasmine is just wrapping up over there. So we're just going to wait a couple seconds for her, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We have been taking submissions for the past several days now. I think about a week. It's not too late. You can still submit to have your Pro Page reviewed. If you're wanting to do that, all you need to do is, let me share my screen. You have to head over to beatstars.world, and that's going to be where you're going to be able to find it. While I pull that up, sorry, I've been talking too much. Introduce yourself, Lee. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I hope everyone's well. Looking forward to today's show. Looking forward to having another cool guest from the BeatStars team, Jasmine. A lot of marketing knowledge and stuff. So looking forward to getting, some of her insight and some of the Pro Pages and stuff. So this is super cool. So happy to be here with Jamil and doing the usual BeatStars Academy show. So yeah, looking forward to it.
For sure. So if you guys haven't submitted yet and you want to submit, you'll need to go ahead and hover over what's new, and that could take you to the opportunities page. On the opportunities page, you'll be able to see all the current opportunities. We have our featured one, Memoria XI or Memoria 11. I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced, but all you need to do is go overhead and go to this Pro Page reviews and then click submit. And then that'll take you to a type form to be able to submit your page. And that's it. That's all you need to do. We have a few of those set up. We also want to review the pages of the people that are currently watching right now to be able to get you guys some feedback live and be able to talk to you about these things, ask you questions. So we can go ahead and get started with one. If anybody has any questions, as always, feel free to drop them in the chat. Where is what's new? What's new is just at the top of the page. Yeah, You just need to log in, I think, to see it. So if you weren't logged in, that might be why it's not showing. Let's go ahead and do it. I'll go ahead and just pick a random one. And as we get more of these in, let us know in the chat, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, let us know if you just submitted, and we're going to try to get to as many people as possible. We did have a lot of submissions, so we're not going to be able to get to all of them, but hopefully we'll be able to get you guys some good feedback.
I'll drop the link.
Just go ahead and pick a random one.
Yeah.
All right, let me get to the first person who submitted. I feel like that's a good thing to do. So this person's name is, let me go ahead and pull up their page. CI1. All right off the bat, we have some cool kind of, branding that I notice with the yellow. I see your logo. It looks a little bit cut off. Your dimensions might be a little bit off on this one. I noticed right away the yellow. I think that's really recognizable and good. Why don't we go ahead and just play one of the tracks low in the background? I feel like that's always a fun thing to do. Which one do you want to listen to, Lee?
Let's just go with the top one.
Let's go to the feature track, The Baby and Drake. God.
I was going to say Living Free, but yeah, we can go with that.
Oh, Living Free? Yeah, let's do that. All right. I'm going to play this kind of low so people can still hear us talking. All right. Let's go ahead and scroll through this. I see your main menu. A little bit minimal. All you have so far is the tracks. There's a lot of different options there. What are some of the things that you like to see, Lee, right in the person's menu?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a mixture because we have a lot of features on BeatStars. So we have albums, we have merchandise, we have sound kits. So yeah, I think it's cool to have, utilize all of the features that we offer. It's cool if you just want to have your tracks up there, but I think it's also cool to have, use all the features that we offer.
Right.
So personally myself, just me being a member of the platform as well, I would definitely be utilizing everything that BeatStars offers. Yeah.
For sure. I'm digging the track names. Pretty simple, but just like kind of good, relatable stuff. Looks like you got a good mix of different like tags and type beats here too. You got the baby, Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know if this is like, oh, hip hop. I was gonna say I don't know if this is like like a pop rock kind of alternative vibe, but it looks interesting. Got your licensing info here. Love to see it. I kind of wish that you had a little bit of a beat, like a breakdown of all the different features. But that's something that you could still add. Go to the pro page setup section of your account, and you can kind of add a detailed list, just so people who are visiting your page can kind of understand like the different main features of these licenses. So I think that's a really good idea.
Sure. Jasmine's just joined us, so I'll bring her in because you probably can't see because you're off the page. So I'll just bring her in. I'll just bring her in. I've just noticed she's there. Bring her in. Hey.
Everybody. I feel like I'm walking into a club with this music banging in the background.
Yes.
Right. Pretty cool. Right off the bat, Jasmine. So we're checking out our first pro page of the day. Looks like we got like a pretty simple, clean design. What do you think of like the yellow black kind of vibes that we have on here?
Yeah, well, the black and yellow is very much serving Pittsburgh Steelers, which is pretty cool because if a professional team did it, it's probably a well thought through color combo. But Jamil, can you scroll to the top because right. When a user is going to you guys' page, the very first thing they're going to see is the top of your website. So when giving feedback, I want to make sure I'm looking at, I guess, the first thing that people would see. So I guess the first thing I would say is it would be great to add some kind of banner image or a banner or a background video. You have a couple of different customizable options on your pro page. And having a clean and minimal design is, in my opinion, the best aesthetic because sometimes people have too many colors where I get a little bit distracted by the colors that I don't focus on the content. But it's really important to lead the way when somebody goes on your website, they know exactly what to do. Right. So whether you have that search bar at the top that says like, what types of tracks are you looking for? Or you have a banner image with either like your logo or some of your key deals, or you're utilizing that text feature that you guys can use in that header section to say, all beats are buy one, get one free. It's important to give very clear next steps to your users. And you think like they're going to my beat website, they're going to know to scroll down and click. But you got to make the process as simple as possible and encourage them. So I'd say, having bright colors is always awesome, but some of those really key marketing elements that the pro page offers, I feel like you're not fully utilizing. So that could be something that helps you with conversions down the line.
Right, for sure. And I think, since there's no search bar or anything, you've chosen to hide that. That does kind of create like a lot of negative space here where it would be nice to see like a banner image like Jasmine was talking about. Or even I think you might have this section like lowered. There's like a bar, like a little like, toggle kind of bar that you can choose to raise this if you didn't want to put anything there. So I think you might have this lowered. And if you want to have nothing there, then you should probably raise it. It'll just probably make it look nicer.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing, kind of speaking of the colors, like I really like it towards the bottom where you have that contrast between dark and light. But towards the top and in some of the menu navigation, I see you're using a little bit of that teal. I would pick maybe more of a complementary accent color, like a white or a light gray. And it's not to take away the uniqueness of your pro page. But one thing that you realize when studying how people interact with a website, a lot of times it's very surface level first. they want to see something that is like very visually satisfying. So just make sure when you guys are picking your colors, you're trying to do something that's well balanced between some of the more stark, bright colors like the teals and the yellows and the really bright reds, and something a little bit more muted like the grays or the dark blues or the blacks and the whites, so that, you know, when people are first go on your website, just from that like very subconscious level, they feel like they're seeing something that they like. Marketing is a lot of psychology, not to turn this pro page review into a marketing class, but it's very psychological. Like you think like if I have good content and I put it on my website, that's all there is to it, but it's not. It's a lot about teaching people's brains to think, to like in some ways like manipulate the way that they're going to perceive your website and your product. And sometimes colors and little things like banners can be an easy way to do that.
Right. Google a complementary color wheel, and it'll show you like all the different like top, like, you know, and the line and the direct
Yeah.
line of things that complement each other. That could help. I don't know. That's something that I saw in like my media aesthetics class in college, where I was like, for real? All right.
That's
Cool.
important. It's really underrated. I think, you know, like I said, having colors that stand out are good, but you definitely need to find a good balance, in how you contrast those colors. Everything, there's an art to everything you do, not just the music you make, but the way that you market yourself as well.
For sure. No, I like this. This is a cool pro page. This is a good start. You know, try to add some of those other things that we were talking about in terms of like the colors. As you kind of, you might be a little bit newer in your BeatStars journey, not sure where you're at exactly, but there are a lot more features than just uploading your tracks. You know, check out some of those other features. And you could probably expand your pro page, create some albums, maybe make like a sound kit, make some merch if you have, you know, if you're interested in that. And hopefully next time we do a pro page review, we can check it out again and, you know, see your progress. Thank you for your submission. Hope you found, you know, some of that stuff helpful.
I actually have a question for you, Jasmine, like with regards to kind of track artwork, kind of going along with your pro page. Would you like try to make that like kind of very similar in a sense, or use like familiar colors, or would you kind of take it away from the pro page itself?
Yeah, you know, I guess it kind of depends. Like, I try and treat every channel differently. So the artwork that you create from now, this obviously would add an extra step in you guys' workload, right? Because the natural thing is I'm going to create a piece of art. I'm going to put that as the track art on BeatStars, and I'm going to put that as the track art on YouTube and on Instagram. But I try and treat every platform differently because the rules of that platform, the way users interact with it are different. So like on YouTube, I would say go with like the stuff with the really bright and colorful background that seem to perform really well. Like if you guys look at people's channels like Genius and stuff like that, who have pretty big followings, they always have like a really simple like face photo and maybe like a minimal text and a bright colored background. But when you're talking about your website, it is a little bit more curated than maybe YouTube because you're not having to play by their rules. So if you guys have the chance or have the time, I would recommend making artwork that's complementary. What I will say is, I don't know if I've ever seen an artist purchase a beat because they like the artwork. So it's not necessarily going to make or break your sales, but if you have the time and want to make sure that your website does look nice and clean and pretty, I would say find something that's really complementary towards, really complementary on your website. And another thing too, actually speaking of artwork, Lee, is like I know a lot of times on YouTube, you guys will do a lot of like type beat marketing or instrumental marketing. And so you'll want to use pictures of those artists in your artwork. I don't think you necessarily have to do that though when you're on BeatStars, because you're not utilizing the traditional SEO that maybe you do on YouTube. So you want artists to come to your site and feel like any song can apply to them if they get that feeling, not like, oh, this is a Summer Walker type beat and you know, I got really, her music and my music have nothing in common. I mean, I think BeatStars, like I said, if you have the ability to create artwork for each channel, I think it would be a great idea to do so.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
For sure. I saw this person, I believe they're still in the chat, mentioned that they submitted. So I wanted to try to get somebody next who is here, that I know for a fact is here. If you're here and you submitted, please let us know. We'd love to review people that are in the chat. All right, so we got Sweet Speaker. Right off the bat, we do notice a couple of things that you're going to be able to fix right away. So they're no big deal. But you're going to need to raise this search bar a little bit because it is blocking your artwork for your featured track. So just go into your customize menu and just pick this up a little bit. And your banner image looks like, I guess it might just be a little bit too small. So it's not kind of like doing like the real banner thing where it's supposed to be like stretching to the edges of the page. It kind of just like stops and you see the background more towards over here. But besides that, what do you guys think of, just like this initial look of this page?
Yeah, well, I'd say it's definitely has some of those elements that we were talking about, or a little bit off the last pro page where, you have a banner image, you have the search bar, and you have a little bit more simplified colors. You see on here, they have the black and the dark gray, but then the yellow as the accent. So you're definitely on the right track. What I would say initially is your banner really competes with the text. It makes it kind of hard to read and kind of makes me want to squint my eyes a little bit. So what I would recommend is putting like maybe a little bit of overlay on the image to darken it a little bit so that you can read the text. And like Jamil said, maybe scoot up the search bar and the headline a little bit because it's covering your featured track right now. But you have the basic principles there. It's just a matter of fine tuning those things to just make it, a little bit more elevated.
Right, for sure.
Everyone seems to be on the yellow vibe. I'm loving it.
Yeah, today's a good yellow day, I guess.
Initially, like I'm just noticing, we're not reviewing tracks today, but I do notice that you kind of have like the alt, like indie pop vibe.
Yeah.
It looks like kind of going, which is cool. I always like to see that as one of my favorite genres of music, and obviously on BeatStars you mostly see like hip hop or different subgenres of hip hop, and maybe just kind of like more mainstream pop. So that's cool to see like some all pop stuff. I'm definitely going to check out your music later. We have the licensing info, which is kind of what we were referencing with the last pro page where we didn't see this, like license info breakdown.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so helpful to see this. Just because a person who's visiting your page for the first time who may not understand beat licensing and music licensing in general won't really know what to make of the prices or what they mean or the names of the leases. So it's good to have this breakdown just so they don't have to go through and read this whole thing. Obviously, people should be doing that, but you kind of have to think from a customer's perspective. They might not. So having this detailed list definitely gives you an advantage in allowing people to understand what is in your store.
Yeah. I like that it has the popular thing too. I feel like that's one of those psychological things where it's like, oh, this is what I don't really know what license to buy. This is probably what other artists buy. But what I would recommend is decreasing the copy on your licenses, on this license in particular, these 4 that you have. Because first things first, when I'm scrolling, and not to sound short-minded, I guess, but I'm thinking this is way too long and complex. It's definitely a lot shorter than your licensing agreement, but it's still a little bit lengthy. So what I would recommend is keeping something like condensing this probably by 2/3. And what I always recommend is creating a blog. So as you guys know, there's the blog feature on the pro page. What I did for my boyfriend who sells beats is create a really in-depth breakdown, like want to learn more about the limited lease or the upgraded lease, and breaking something a little bit more lengthy like this. But when you read it on the blog, the width of that copy is going to be a little bit longer. So it's going to look like 2 or 3 lines as opposed to looking like 15. So what I would recommend to you is, again, you have the framework there, just condense that copy a little bit. And then if you want to get more in-depth, create a blog and then add that to your homepage.
Yeah.
Right.
And also sometimes people might be, sorry, Jamil,
go ahead,
people might be viewing this on a mobile device as well. So I guess you have to kind of think that way as well.
Yeah.
Right. For things that, if you were to move some of this to like a blog post, I would say maybe like this explanation, because I like this. You don't see this too often, but it is kind of a lot for this licensing info section. I think what'll help is to keep these bullet points directly comparing the number of streams and the file types on there, because I think those might be the main things people are looking for. And then these sort of like explanations or ideas about like application that you have above that. So like a blog post.
Yeah.
You do have your subscribe to mailing list, and you do have a lot of different. Oh, actually, let's keep scrolling because you do have some of this featured in your.
Can we pause real quick, actually, Jamil? One thing that I would say is confusing, and not necessarily confusing, but I would recommend separating your mailing list and your contact form, because two forms back to back just is like, wait, is this one long form? Is this two forms? And another thing is I love that you have the subscribe to your mailing list on here. So it's great to know that you have a mailing list, and hopefully you're using the Manychat integration to email market to your mailing list. But I didn't notice that you use the pop-up, the newsletter pop-up. So if you are collecting people's information for a mailing list, I would recommend setting up that newsletter pop-up for your pro page so that as soon as we go there, that pops up and you can start collecting people's information instead of hoping that they scroll to the very bottom of your website and then want to put in their name and email. I don't think it hurts to have this form on there as well, but I would say if you want to add a newsletter pop-up, that could be really beneficial too, and separating those two.
What do you guys think about the placement of the contact form? I know traditionally most people put it at the end of the page after everything else, and here it's in the middle. Do you think like there's an advantage, or there's some kind of like, or there's like, you know, does it really matter where you put it, you think?
Well, I mean, traditionally you would say it would be at the bottom, but BeatStars actually does offer another feature, which is the Manychat integration, which I've not actually seen anyone use yet. So
yeah,
I think that's a cool tool to use, because obviously that's like instant communication, whereas a contact form will be, you know, come through your email, and not everyone's checking their emails all the time, especially if you're a producer, you know, spending most of the time in the studio cooking up. So you might not always be looking at your emails. So I don't know. I mean, it's actually a good question, but, you know, traditionally you would find a contact form at the bottom, but, you know, if it works for you, putting it in a different space, why not try it, you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily going to make or break your sales. What I always like to say is I don't like to reinvent the wheel, and you want to give users a similar experience. So if every single contact form that people typically go to is at the bottom of their website or in the menu navigation, the very far right, you want to typically put that in that same spot, because again, on a psychological level, some people may be like, oh, I need to contact him, I'm going to scroll right away to the bottom, and then they miss your contact form. Yeah. So if you're getting, you know, people filling it out, great. It's, again, this is not going to be something that's going to generate you thousands of dollars and more sales just because you put it at the bottom. But I would recommend moving it just to have it be in a place where people typically would find it.
Right, for sure. That's kind of what, you know, I was thinking too, in a sense. I like this is super cool. I like that you do have this blog here. Blog is, you know, could be a pretty underutilized feature. I do kind of notice though that, so on the blog, when you have these images attached to the blog, it does put them in a spot. And depending on like, you know, your monitor, where you're viewing, it'll make the image pretty big sometimes. So I don't know if it looks like this on your guys' end looking at my screen. The text is a little bit blurry, but I am on a large monitor. If you're on mobile, it might look a little bit better. But that's something to keep in mind, that the image sizes do change. So it might be in your best interest to make a larger image there.
Oh yeah, I always recommend exporting 1080 by 1080p. And if you guys want, you know, automatically, because that's a square, it's going to be a square size. So BeatStars will resize it, but that way, if somebody's looking on a larger monitor, it's going to be a high enough resolution. So always, you don't want to make it too big, because if you guys have images that are too big in pixel size, it can actually slow down your site. But 1080 by 1080, that standard Instagram post size, usually is something that'll be good for being clear on smaller devices while also still being clear on larger devices.
For sure. Then you do have services, which is super cool. It looks like, you know, even though I think you said in the chat you've only been on BeatStars for a couple of weeks, you have been experimenting with everything, which, you know, we love to see, taking full advantage of your pro page account, because it does come with so many features. And it looks like you've got, let's see, you got music or lyric video creation, you got basic vocal editing, you offer a mastering service, and you do basic mix and master. That's super cool. You love to see it. And I love this logo, by the way. This is a super
is
cool logo.
cool.
We didn't comment on that yet.
Yeah. You know, speaking of logo, one thing that I noticed is that in the footer, it's just text. And then in the top right, it's logo. So what I always recommend is in the top right portion of your BeatStars, you can use that favicon, which is usually just a symbol. Like for BeatStars, it would just be that B. And then in your footer, you can do the full width logo. Because you usually want to have your website fully branded towards you. And so if you can, you know, this logo is really awesome, but if you have a horizontal version or you have one without the text and just that kind of background thing you want to use in the corner, I would say just try and figure out something that you can put kind of in that footer. Because I think for some people it's kind of misleading when they see the text on the bottom. It's like they don't know it's a logo, so it just feels like you randomly typed your name at the bottom. So if you can figure out something to put there, that would be good too.
Right. If you were confused on how to do any of these things, or you're watching and you wanted to know how to raise the search bar or how to put those in, we do have an entire, I think it's a 5 or 6 video course on how to use the Pro Page. Visit our YouTube page. We have a playlist called Pro Page Course. Check that out. There's 2 Pro Page customization videos that specifically go over things on the Pro Page, and then there's other videos that talk about different things that have to do with the Pro Page. But I would definitely recommend checking those out if you don't know how to do any of these things that we're talking about. I explain, I believe, everything within those videos.
You do cover it all.
Okay, cool. I hope so. It took a long time. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much wrapped up with this one. Thank you for submitting, sweet speaker. We appreciate you. Let's see. Who can we get to next? It looks like Graphic Music said he's submitted.
Yeah, there was a couple.
Watching. Let's see if I can find that submission. Okay.
I'm just scrolling through the chat to see if there was any more.
For sure. Okay. I found it. If you wanted to message me or to queue any of them up,
sure.
Let me know. You can message me. And we got Graphic Music ready here. Let's go. All right. Unique look right off the bat. It almost, with this background, I love the way that it blends. And almost when I opened it up, I was like, is this a Pro Page? Because it does look pretty unique, but it definitely is a Pro Page.
It's giving me like island vibes. Like island
vibes. We got the island vibes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that, it might kind of blend into your music. Not sure yet. I guess we'll find that out. But, first impressions, what do you think, Jasmine?
Yeah, I would say I'm torn on what to expect when I go on here because black, red, and white are very dominant. And then you have the light blue sky, the white clouds, the green palm trees, and it's like a very light mode and a dark mode simultaneously in the same section. So I really like the uniqueness of the graphic music, and the font is really cute and the colors are cute. But I also really like the island vibes, but I do think that you need to choose one. If you want to go with something, if your music has a lighter feel to it, I would say probably go with kind of that island look that you have in your image and maybe use like green, blue, and white and a black as the colors for your Pro Page. But if you want to go with that more dominant color, I think that's fine. You just need to switch out your header image because right now I'm getting kind of 2 conflicting experiences when trying to understand like what your brand is. But I would say I would recommend going with the black, red, and white version just because I really like what you did. Like those little, it looks like speaker icons that you manipulated on the photo to be next to the search bar, and having your image and the cool fonts you did, it feels really personalized. Whereas like the island type feel can be a little bit more generic. This black, red, and white stuff that you have feels a lot more you. But whatever you do, just try and choose one.
Right. I do notice that, I'm not sure if this is true for any other tracks, but this featured track, he does also have the island in the track artwork.
Hmm.
It looks like, just looking at the track artwork for a second, it does look like you have like a system for what your artwork looks like. That's something we didn't really touch on yet, I don't think, where, creating artwork that people can uniquely identify with you to go along with your branding could be really helpful, in terms of just like, in terms of like creating like a reputation, or, an image yourself that people associate with you. Um, I think consistency in any sense is what Jasmine was kind of alluding to with the
Yeah.
two contrasting sort of styles, is something that you should strive to kind of achieve. Sometimes these conflicting things, like when I look at these ones, like this image for Wish 'em Well, that is kind of different for the image for the featured track. So you might just be like experimenting, trying out to see what you like better. But I think overall, going forward, you should be like aiming to sort of like make these more like similar and consistent. And also, I'm not sure how many tracks you upload at once, but I think maybe calling everything new might be a little bit might be a little bit of a stretch. You should probably call your new track new, and then the other ones could.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I know from when you're like looking on the feed and stuff like that, you want to have your track stand out. But if I were coming on this page, I would know that you're likely not uploading. When I think of new, I think of in the past week, and you likely haven't created 10 beats in the past week. And so my first thought would be all of this is actually probably old. So what I would say is have it truly on the new uploads you've had for the past week, like maybe the recent 2 or 3. But at the same time, your tracks are in chronological order already, unless you've like customized that. And what you don't want somebody to do is be like scrolling through your catalog and they're like, wow, this is probably old then, right? Like, so I probably don't want this song or this instrumental. So just keep in mind that I think there's other ways that you can stand out without tagging everything as new, because there can be a downside to doing that as well.
Hmm. Um, okay, albums. You got the albums look too. Um, okay, these
Yeah.
are a bit expensive for albums. And it might just be a lot of tracks in there.
Mhm. I would say break it up then though, because
Yeah, break it
your
up.
average user, your average independent artist, best case scenario, they have a couple of hundred to spend on a beat. A lot of times people are only going to be able to spend like 29.99, like $30 to $50. And so you want to make sure that your price range is affordable. Again, that doesn't mean you need to put thousands of beats on an album and then only sell it for $5. But what I would recommend is making it a little bit more granular so that you can still be within their budget. We actually surveyed artists of BeatStars, so our beat buyers, on how many beats they typically buy per year. And on average, I think they said they spent a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand total on BeatStars and their experience thus far. So when you think about some of these people having been on the platform for years, where BeatStars or where you see artists come in is there's a lot of them, more than there is a few people coming back and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. So make sure that your price range on stuff, especially albums, if you're trying to use them as a way to get more sales, are within a reasonable budget of what most independent artists can afford. Because a lot of times when people can spend $10,000, $15,000 on a track, even 3, 4,000, they're going to be in the studio with the producer. They're typically not just buying the MP3. So just make sure that you guys are understanding who your audience is and what they're able to afford.
Right, for sure.
Mhm.
You do have merch. I just kind of wanted to acknowledge and check out. Take a look at your page. This is the first, I think, set of merch that we've seen today. Pretty cool, simple designs on the stuff. Um, I like them. What do you guys think of this? I know we're not doing a full-fledged merch review today, but I just wanted to shout out the fact that you had some merch.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're now utilizing that integration that we offer. So it's really cool.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and there's quite a few different products there that you're offering as well. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool to have merch on your store for sure.
For sure.
Mhm.
Let's see. Was there anything else that we're missing on the page? licensing info, I would just go ahead, add that, like bullet point breakdown.
Sure.
It is cool that you have bulk deals here. You got buy two, get one free. Standard stuff. Buy three, get two. I like it. I like that it's offered on all the licenses too. I think, no matter what kind of like budget people are working with, I think it's cool to offer them the same kind of deals. It just makes people feel like, your store is kind of catering to them and trying to help them out in their journey. And I think,
Sure.
that's part of building a relationship with people that can turn into long lasting, like professional partnerships. So
I was going to say, I think, sorry, Lee. I was going to say, I think you guys also need to balance when it's time to customize and make it feel you, and when you need to go off what the user would traditionally experience, right? So when you think about most of the other times they're buying beats, it's MP3 license, it's wave license, it's the stems, it's unlimited. If I were an artist coming on here, I would say, what the hell is a standard lease? What is a premium lease? What's a premium plus lease? Because those aren't typical verbiage used in the online beat selling, I guess, marketplace. So even though having unique terms is great, and again, making your website feel like you also do need to find that balance of making sure it's easy for the customer to know what to do, what type of license they should purchase, and how, and what exactly they're getting in exchange for that purchase.
Sure.
Right. Especially in cases like this where you do have a jump from $100 to $500 between the two different license types. The basic question that is going to come to people's minds is why? Why is this one $400 more? People need to be able to determine if that premium plus is what they need. And in order for them to do that, they need to know what it is. So just having that like list of, is it more files? Is it just like a ton more streams? People need to be able to kind of determine for themselves if it's worth more.
Yeah, agreed. The other thing I was going to say was kind of similar to what we mentioned about the contact form. I generally like to see the licenses kind of directly under the tracks. Whereas on this page, it's kind of like halfway through and it's, you've got the merchandise and stuff before that. So I don't know what you guys think, but me personally, I always just kind of like to see the licenses directly under the tracks. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of mention that as well, because I think that's kind of something to think about. I think you're muted, Jasmine. Hold on.
Let's go ahead and check out. Okay, so we got a sound kit, which is cool. I like the look of the sound kit artwork too. Just wanted to mention that.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it was muted, but I'm unmuted now. But I was saying, Lee, I agree with that. Like, it should be tracks, and then it should be, so it's what they're buying, how much they're paying for it, and then I'd recommend that blog right after. If you don't know what to buy, this is going to help you with that process. So think about that customer journey of what the experience, like what they're taking step by step to get to that purchase, and making sure that your homepage kind of follows that flow.
Yep.
For sure. And it looks like this last part is just the services. You got some unique services like social media promo, artist development. It looks like that includes a consultation. And you also do custom beats. So this is like a mix of like, services for producers, artists, you name it. So I think that's cool to offer, a wide array of things like that. Let's go ahead and try to get to the next one. I appreciate you submitting graphic music. Hope you got some, some gems out of this that you can go ahead and try to apply to your page.
That's a good example, just to touch on what Jasmine was saying earlier about the stretched logo at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's a good example of that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I did find one. Well, I've seen a couple, but there's Legendary the Poet. Have you found that? Did you see that one in there?
I think
it's
that
quite
one
a fair way up.
Be in there. I grabbed a page already. Hold on.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Okay, so when I opened this before, he did have an email pop up. So it said where I hold on. Let me see if I can just grab that one instead so you guys can see it. Let me stop sharing my screen and then reshare it. Let's do that. Okay, cool. So I would just fix this typo up here. You know, probably change it to where should I send your free beats, or what would you guys say? What would you guys recommend?
Yeah, I think you need to like, when I think of the pop-up form, I always think of like trying to offer someone value. So you're just to entice them to actually give you their email address. So I think if you're just saying what does it say? Because I'm struggling to read
Is
it.
where I send.
Where I
I
send
think
free
you should
beats.
say
Yeah, something like
sign up for X number of beats or something.
yeah, that's what I would say. Like sign up for 5 free beats, or sign up for 20% discount code, or so, you know, you just really want to be offering value to get their email from them. I think just saying where I send 3 beats, I feel like, because the screen's so small on my side, I'm struggling to see it. I'm not sure, you know, people, of course, like they feel like maybe they're going to get some free beats. They don't know how many, that kind of stuff, you know. So, or even if you're just offering information to people, you know, like just let people know what you're offering them. I guess that's what I would say for the pop-up
Sure.
form.
Okay. Right off the bat, we got a very large image, and it looks like, wait, how did this happen? I'm trying to think about. I think you just push down this a little bit further, because yeah, we haven't seen one like this where you can't even see the track list at first. I think this looks kind of cool. I think, you know, these borders are a little bit. It's like a little bit of a weird, like stark contrast. I kind of wish that, you know, maybe this just faded a little bit more smoothly. I know the blur was intentional to kind of highlight the text, but I kind of wish it was a little bit more smooth. What do you guys think?
Well, first, I would say, just looking at the menu navigation, red is a very dark color, just like black. So you have 2 dark colors stacked on top of each other. So you need to choose a different color for your menu navigation because it makes it a little bit hard to read. I would also say, obviously, you should create a logo. We actually have an integration with Canva. It's a really simple graphic design tool, which typically is used for track artwork, but you can also use it to make a logo. So I would definitely get a logo in there. And as far as the banner image, yeah, I would say it's a little bit confusing because I see trap, soul, chill, trap, freestyle, and I read those kind of left to right. And I'm assuming they apply to your music, but there's also like 2 different fonts and 2 different colors. So when I first get on this homepage, I guess I would naturally be a little bit overwhelmed because I'm like, do I look at the text on the left? Do I look at the text at the right? Do I look at the text on the center? And there's a little bit more detail than needed. You always want to make, again, a very good first impression. And you don't want to simplify it too much like we saw in the past where maybe there's nothing on there. But at the same time, you don't want to add too much where they're overwhelmed and overstimulated. So I think, you know, maybe just simplifying this image would be a little bit better, and maybe adding, if you're somebody who's giving away free beats, maybe that's something to add on your header image, because I think most people know when they see the giant play icon how to get the music started. So if you're going to use that header space, use it for something that would get them to convert or get them to really want to stay on your page. And I don't necessarily know that instructing them on how to click play is the best use of that space.
Right. Yeah, and I think I would co-sign all of that. I think, you know, all the different fonts and the different colors does make it a little bit confusing. I think kind of try to stick with one, and maybe use this for, you know, use this section here for, you know, some other kind of messaging, because I think everybody kind of knows how to get a track to play. When we scroll down, we do see that we're adding even more colors. It looks like we're going into a gray now. This font. I don't know if it's just because the text is red or if it's this font, but it is a little difficult to read. I think this definitely isn't the easiest on the eyes. Maybe switch to a different font on your page, or maybe try a different color once you kind of choose what your real colors are. And this highlight color being blue is obviously kind of like not ideal either, going from red to blue with the highlight, just because it's just not really consistent with the rest of the page, I don't think. These are cool like track artworks though.
I was about to say that. Yeah, they are pretty cool. Maybe they could utilize some of that kind of design into their actual pro page itself. But yeah, I kind of agree. It's I mean, I'm looking on a smaller screen, so it's a bit hard for me to tell exactly, but it does seem a little bit difficult to read.
Right. And then this kind of is just more of the same kind of color issue. This background is just like another kind of brown. And then you got this like lime green action going on with the licensing. And yeah, it just looks a little bit weird. This list is pretty long too, but I like that you do have the list. Maybe just, shorten it a little bit, get it down to like the real important things. And then you got your services, custom beat, mixing and mastering. If this is an image of yourself, I think that's cool. I think it's cool to let people know what you look like. It makes you more relatable. I wish that was kind of featured in other places and not just like here in this one small spot. What do you think about including images of yourself, Jasmine, on a pro page?
I think it depends where. It's always nice for people to be able to learn more about you and see the person behind the music. But just want to make sure it's applicable. Like you want to find the best image for whatever it is you're promoting, right? So like if you're making an album compilation of beats, that's not the appropriate time for a picture of you. But if you're providing a mixing mastering service and you have a picture of you in front of your computer, that totally works. So it just depends on what it is. But I'd also recommend probably too is a new font. And I know we make this available because we make all Google fonts available, but this font was all the rage in the early 2000s. And so naturally, what it takes me back to is this assumption that maybe the music is not caught up with like more modern day, or maybe the producer isn't as hip. Again, you think these things are so stupid and small, like who the hell cares about a font? But especially with artists being creative, their brain works differently than most people. And sometimes it's these little things that the consumers pick up on that you don't even realize can impact their perception. So changing the font for sure, I think would be a good idea.
Yeah, it goes back to what you said about the psychology side of things and
Yeah.
how it makes you feel and look. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We appreciate you submitting, Fairy Boy. Hope that you got some good stuff out of there. Oh, you got all your links at the bottom. That's cool. I like to see that. Get all your links on your pro pages, guys. No reason not to have them.
Yeah, social links. Yeah.
Okay, I think we might have time for one or two more if we go quick. Let me just go ahead and grab who else has submitted. Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit to like the middle of these submissions. I don't think we've ever checked out this person before. Okay, cool. Let me stop the screen share to make sure that we get this thing. Oh, Jasmine, thank you for being with us. We're going to be reviewing the last one. She needs to hop off. But
Cool.
Yeah, we appreciate you checking in. Everybody say thank you in the chat to Jasmine for joining us today.
Of course, guys. Sorry for being late. I actually just had left our marketing masterclass about scaling paid ads, but we did a 30-day challenge in the beginning of January, and it's back on beatstars.world/30 days. And the first day task, day one, is set up or spruce up your pro page. And it has some examples of pro pages that I like and just some of the design elements and what I like about them. So even though I won't be able to stay for this last 10 minutes, if you guys need any more ideas or want to get some insight on what really looks good and some people who are doing it well or aren't, just be sure to go to beatstars.world/30 days and check out that day one. But thank you, Lee, and thank you, Jamil, and thanks
Thanks
you,
for coming.
everybody. I guess I'll see you guys later.
Take care.
Later. All right, cool. Let's get one more in, and we're actually going to be. I know if you guys are used to BeatStars Academy, we do a quiz at the end of the show. We don't have a quiz today because we can't quiz you about other people's pro pages. There was no way to prepare that.
No.
But we are going to be adding some of the people that we reviewed to the list. So we'll see who else is in there. All right, I just want to read some of the comments. I haven't had a chance to read as usual.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Fairy Boy. We're glad the review made you laugh too. We tried to keep it light. Okay, cool. Let's. Seems like a biased opinion, but I like it. So we'll do that one. So let me get this last one that I said I was gonna do it, and then we'll end it off with that boy button.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. So who do we have here? Let me share screen. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to share the screen again to show this. So if you put too much text in the email pop-up, you're not going to be able to read all of it.
Yeah.
So make sure to keep it short because it says type email and receive in. So people are not going to know what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, like within the context, I think people probably will understand that they're going to receive something, but probably beats if it's a beat page. But receive what? So you want to make sure that text is a little bit shorter.
Yeah, just need to condense it a little bit, figure it out.
Yeah. There are ways to put it. I do have a video where I talked about. I think I gave a couple of examples of like short things that you can put.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're here, Pulsey Beats. Let us know if you are in the chat, or I guess you'll watch this later if you're not. Okay, we got the cool smiley face with the headphones in the banner. This banner is probably one of my favorites I think we've seen so far today. It looks like the dimensions are right. It goes all the way to the edges of the screen.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
We actually do offer the correct dimensions that you can use, so you can always make sure that your dimensions are right before you upload the banner image. So when you go into your pro page customization options, it actually gives you the dimensions to use. So yeah, feel free to check that out.
I would change this subtext color because the gray is a little bit hard to see. Maybe just make it black, like the pricing buttons. Let's get a list here explaining the difference because who knows what premium means and who knows what premium plus means. And you kind of got to, I mean, I have an idea. It's probably just like higher streams, but that's because I look at pro pages all the time.
And I think having featuring one as well is also really cool.
Yeah, feature one. If you want to feature one as most popular, I would actually try to go with the most popular license.
Yeah.
But yeah, just let people know what the difference is between these. Can't hurt. You offer a guitar playing service. What is this actually? Guitar player on your beats. Okay, that's cool. Do you also sell loops if you're a guitar player? Because that's probably a good idea.
Oh, for sound kits. Yeah.
Yeah, offer sound kits. Do like a loop pack. Let's check out your merch. Sorry, going a little bit quick on this one just because I want to get to one more.
Oh, that's cool. I actually really like this. I like how it looks. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. You got like the basic logo stuff.
Yeah. And there's some different the face mask is cool. It's quite prominent now. I kind of like that stainless steel water bottle.
I was gonna say the water bottle to me might be the one.
That's pretty cool.
It looks like it wraps around pretty nicely. I think this is like a good size image for the water bottle. Yeah. I don't know. Does it like, I mean, I don't know this particular product. Does it like restrict you to like only on this area, or could you add stuff higher? I'm not sure.
I think with Printful, they do have like an area where you have to select to put your print on. So I think on some of the products, you can add it in different areas. And I guess it also depends on the size of the image that you upload as well. Like there's a couple of things that some of the products do like a full kind of wrap, if you like a full, and then some might just have like a square in the middle or something. So I think it all really depends on the product, I think.
Right. I think all this stuff is cool. I think, yeah, my favorite would probably be the water bottle or like the regular t-shirt. I think $27 for a t-shirt. Embroidered backpack. Is this a tiny backpack? I'm not sure, but that's cool. I think I'm not sure if you've made any sales on the notebook. I don't know. The notebook, to me, $14 for that notebook. That might be like probably the thing that I like.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you change the price. I mean, it's a tough one, I think, because I guess most people use their phones and they've got notepads on their phones and stuff these days. But
yeah, a notebook of that size is probably like 99 cents at like a store. It's a little bit of a tough sell.
Yeah.
But everything else looks pretty cool. I like it. Maybe just explore, some more options. Because it's a nice design. It can go on everything,
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Pulsey Beats, for submitting. We appreciate you.
Yeah, great stuff. I really liked it.
Let's get
that boy.
Tyler, right?
Yep.
Okay, you did submit. I'm obviously did submit. All right. Copy link. Let's go. Right off top, we got the email pop up. Perfect amount of text, not cut off at all. Drop your email for 20% off. I like it. Lets you know exactly what you're getting. 20% off is a very enticing deal.
It is.
Usually you see around 10 to 15. 20% off. I like it. Very generous. So that's cool. I think people would sign up for this. I'm not sure if you could drop any gems about like what your sign up list is.
No, I
think you get a lot, but in the chat, but 20% off seems like, that's a good deal.
Yeah, 20% off or offering free beats or something like that is super cool. I just wanted to touch that it's just the first page I've seen so far that's using the Facebook Messenger, which is pretty cool. And it ties in. The only thing I would be concerned about with this page is the actual video itself. I'm not sure if this would be breaking some sort of copyright thing.
Yeah, just be careful of things like that.
I would just say
I'm not totally sure of it myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but you may want to kind of check that out just in case. But it looks cool.
I mean, I like the video. I think this is the first one we've seen with video. So some kind of like anything animated in the background, I think kind of would set you apart.
Yeah, and the flashing that boy good at the top as well was pretty cool.
I like the names of the tracks, chess moves. I've been big on chess, just like everybody else in the last year, ever since that show came out, The Queen's Gambit. I think everybody's been on. Everybody's been on chess, so that's cool. Pricing looks good, $20. Free downloads being on a couple of tracks, not all of them. I would just go ahead and offer it on all of them if you were going to do a couple of them anyways. I'm not sure if there's a specific reason that you do that, but it would just be cool to see like all of that like consistency there. The coloring is good, makes everything stand out. Yeah, it's pretty simple with the gray or the silver. It looks more like a silver to me. You got the breakdown is at a pretty good length. I think Jasmine's advice was to simplify it even a little bit more. She kind of like to see the maybe 3 or 4 max.
What I do kind of like as well, which is kind of enticing, is the way they get longer as they go along. So it feels like you're getting more and you're paying a obviously a slightly higher price. So I guess kind of psychologically, because you're adding more text there, it feels like people are getting more for their money, I guess. So I just thought I'd try to jump that in there because that's kind of a cool thing that I've seen I'm sure I've heard someone say that before as well. So.
All right, cool. Oh, all right. I'm trying to see if like what the automated messaging he has set up is. So I just dropped a yo. Thanks for the feedback. You're welcome. All right. Let's go ahead and check out the merch really quick. Okay. Oh, we got the scrunch face fanny pack.
Socks.
Oh, we got the socks. We got the scrunch face socks. Oh, we got 2 scrunch face socks. Why is this one $1 more than the other one?
Yeah, that's kind of maybe a little bit.
Oh, it looks like a couple things are duplicated. You might want to check that out.
Yeah.
Looks like duplicated too. Yeah, you might have duplicated these accidentally. And I think I'm not sure if these are the same thing too, just different colors. But you can just make it one and then offer all the colors under one item.
Yeah.
So go ahead and check that out. You might have accidentally duplicated these. It's cool though. I mean, like,
it's cool to see people are using, the integration. It's cool.
on the 5-panel cap, I like this white one. I don't know if I like the black. It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, what? I clicked on it and it looked different.
You can actually choose the preview images. So I think maybe it's doubled and you can choose which one's the preview image. So that's probably what he's done there. But you can go in and edit that on Printful quite easy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, that's cool. I think we're over time here. So
yeah,
we appreciate you for submitting once again. Hope you liked or hope you got something out of this review. Again, we want to say thanks to everybody who submitted. Sorry, these reviews kind of take a little while to really go in depth. We want to make sure we go over everything on a page, so we didn't get to that many. But we do appreciate everybody for submitting. We are going to make it a priority to try to do this again.
Definitely, yeah. Since we had a lot of submissions as well, so we'd like to get through some more of those. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, it's been super cool. It was nice to have Jasmine on and give her advice as well and give her insight from a marketing standpoint. So super cool. Enjoyed today's show. And yeah, thanks everyone that submitted.
For sure. We'll be adding a couple of the people that we reviewed to the Academy All-Stars playlist.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah. Peace out, everyone.
Bye, y'all.